with Angelia Su, Director of Sales for Hilton Asia Pacific region and as well as globally. Angelia, thanks for joining us. As I indicated, our audience are very interested to learn about Hilton in Malaysia, Thailand, and you have one property in Vietnam. Let's start with that. I was just recently in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, and find that country to be just booming for new tourists. Tell us about what is Hilton doing there, please.
Currently, we have a very established property called Hilton Hanoi Opera. The beauty of this property, it's beside the Opera House, and it caters to primarily both the corporate market as well as MICE, as well as the leisure traveler. It's a very charming hotel with its own unique selling points in terms of the location, and in terms of obviously, the Hilton brand is very strong in this part of the world.
How many rooms and when was the property built?
It's about 6 years old. It's only about close to almost 300 rooms.
And now that city, that whole country, I mean, there seems to be, if I'm not correct, a shortage of rooms because of the high demand. Is that what you're seeing over there?
Yes, definitely. And with the recently completed APAC meeting in November, Hanoi was the destination, and having it being selected, so there is a lot of interest and a lot of focus into that destination. So in itself creates a natural demand, for not only for the leisure traveler but also for MICE and meetings.
Are there any specific plans you know of? I presume Hilton will be growing throughout Asia and certainly Vietnam, but are there any specific plans on the board for Vietnam?
Specific details I don't have at this time. I would think, we obviously would want to increase our presence in Vietnam.
Right. Now, moving to Thailand, you have a lot of properties there. I'm looking at, let's start with the resorts, if you could, and maybe you could just give us an overview of the properties you have in Thailand and who they cater to.
Well, we have the first resort that we had in Thailand was Hilton Hua Hin, and they cater to primarily the leisure traveler and small meeting groups. The second property that we came into Thailand was Hilton Phuket Arcadia Resort and Spa. Now that's a very unique property as well because it's the largest on the island. We have close to about 685 rooms, spreading across 70 acres, and that caters with a wide variety of leisure travelers, and especially the MICE segment of it, because we've got the largest MICE facilities on the island itself. Now, the unique selling point of that property is the ability to keep large groups into one area, and with this vast areas in terms across the resort, there's a lot of events and a lot of team buildings capability that you could do, and that is a very good selling point to an organizer rather than having to move 300-400 people around the island.
And what the customers you're getting for these MICE events, from where in the world are they generally coming from?
It's all over the world because there's a lot of companies who are always increasingly looking for new destinations to bring their worldwide meetings, their customer events, their partner conferences, and that's why a lot of times it's the destination that's sold first, and the hotel, it's a good partnership coming to that. So that's why with Phuket, the ability to cater to events like this is a very good selling point.
Okay, so Hua Hin, Phuket, and which other resorts?
We have 2 hotels in Bangkok. Conrad Bangkok obviously is predominantly a corporate hotel, but we're moving into tapping into the high-end luxury MICE segment as well. And we recently opened Millennium Hilton Bangkok, which is on the other side of the river. That it's like a resort by the river. if you say in terms of being in Bangkok. This property has it's built and trying to cater, focusing on the niche MICE market based on the facilities and the areas that we have developed around the hotel to cater to that, and overlooking the river. What more can you ask? It's a very, very unique selling point by itself.
Do you have anything up north? I'm looking at the list here. Is that covers it? You have in Malaysia. Tell us a bit about your Malaysia properties, please.
We've been in Malaysia back since in the late 70s, and we currently right now we have 4 hotels in Malaysia. The Hilton Kuala Lumpur, which came back in, we were not in KL for a while. We came back into the market, and it's about 2.5 years ago, and the property has done a great job in terms of the re-entry into the new look and feel of the new Hilton type of product that we were going to introduce and develop in this part of the world. Hilton Petaling Jaya has been in KL for quite a number of years as well, and we continue to improve on that product to cater for the corporate traveler. We have Hilton Kuching, which is in East Malaysia. We've been there for the past 10 years. We also have a very unique resort called Hilton Batang Ai, which is built around the concept of the longhouse. Yeah, it's about 4 hours away from Kuching. Longhouse is the concept where the Aborigines of Malaysia, that's the way they live, and we develop a resort according to the style. It's a very, very unique product.
How many rooms roughly?
That's less than 100 rooms.
Wow,
because in that part of Malaysia, the Malaysian government focuses a lot on ecotourism.
I know we don't have enough time to cover all the other countries you have properties at, but let's spend a moment, if you could, and share with our travel agents and tour operator audience of what are you seeing as a trend for the next year for Southeast Asia.
That's good. Okay. Yeah.
I'll restart the question.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
To address some of an item of interest to our travel agent and tour operator members, what are you hearing or seeing as a trend for? Let's talk about UK Europe versus, let's say, North America, as far as how they're packaging Southeast Asia and which destinations seem to be the hot focus.
I think the hot focus is mainly locations in Indochina. Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar. There's a lot of interest of intra-Asia travel. I guess people are looking because it's a unique destination that a lot of travel agents are looking for to bring to their customers, because to package it's always about the destination. You know, what do we do differently? Where the new places, where the places that's recently opened up. You know, there's a lot of interest in that.
And now, one of the premises we've been operating on is that a lot of the industry are still learning about these destinations. They're rather new, so they're still not quite familiar with the destinations. And I would suppose that would be they're not quite at the stage of selling it yet. Do you see it as interest, and how much of it is turning into action?
Well, to promote a destination, it's not only from the hotel developer's point of view. It's got a lot to do with the local government. It's got a lot to do with the tourism promotion board, because we need to go into it together. Because a lot of times it's a destination first before the other facilities and the other things, you know, within that country. That's the big push, so to speak, that we need to have a lot of partnerships with the local government and local tourism promotion board. Obviously, some promotion boards, you know, do it better than others, but that should be the focus.
It sounds like you are sometimes put in a situation where the travel agent or tour operator picks your brain for the knowledge about the destinations.
Yes, constantly, constantly. Customers always, it's not just the product of the hotel, but it's what can you do within our time there. It's the different things that people look for when they're there for a night. There for 2 nights, there for a conference, there for a holiday. So the destination is a very, very important selling factor or deciding factor, so to speak, when consumers choose where to go for a meeting or where to go for a holiday.
Well, one other thing that I like to talk about is low season travel. So that would be the summer months, late spring, early through summer. Do you have any suggestions of what the tour operators can package around, and what would be those seasons that may be different to attract generally a non-travel period or a low travel period for this area?
A lot of times it's all about value. You need to pitch value with the times to travel. So to cater for low seasons, I guess is value and other things. What can you do around that time? That needs to the key components that you need. When you're trying to sell to the consumer. So value. Why should it be there? Like why should I go? Why Singapore or why Thailand should I pick for this time? So it's a lot of you need to be very. You can't. It's different strokes for different folks, I guess. So it's being very clear as to which market you want to tap, what they look for, specifically the profile of the traveler as well.
I've heard some travel suppliers talking about tapping the Australian market, summer being their winter, to tap them for more travel to this part of the world. Have you been involved with that?
No, I've not. I'm not an expert on the Australian market, so I won't want to comment.
Okay, well, it sounds pretty logical that if they're so cold down there in the summer, they would come to lovely Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.